If you are not your thoughts, who is thinking them? Buddhism's answer. Chapter 1. The Mystery of Thoughts and Thinking. Have you ever noticed how thoughts just pop into your head? Like uninvited guests at a party. One moment you are focused. The next you're planning dinner, replaying an old argument, or worrying about something that has not even happened. Where do these thoughts come from? And more importantly, who is doing the thinking? If it is not you, then who? It is something we all experience. You might be washing dishes, driving, or just staring out the window, and suddenly a thought appears. You did not ask for it. It just showed up. This is not a mental glitch. It is the natural behavior of an untrained mind. Buddhism offers a powerful explanation. Dependent origination pratityas amitpade. This core teaching means that everything arises due to causes and conditions. Every thought has a trigger even if we are not aware of it. It might be a sensation, a feeling, a memory, a whole network of interconnected events. One thing leads to another, and another. Want to see this in action? Try this. For the next few seconds, attempt to predict your next thought. Close your eyes. Go ahead. Could you do it? Probably not. Because the very act of trying to predict your thought changes the conditions that would have shaped it. This simple exercise points to a core Buddhist insight. The absence of a fixed, controlling self-anatta. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, he observed his mind with deep clarity. The Majjhima Nikaya describes how he saw thoughts rise and fall like ripples on a pond, without any permanent thinker behind them. We have all heard that inner voice, that mental chatter. Buddhists call it the monkey mind, restless, always jumping from one thought to the next. Think about the kinds of thoughts that fill your mind. Planning what is for dinner. Remembering, did I lock the door? Judging, they should not have said that. Worrying, what if I fail? Just becoming aware of these patterns is a powerful first step. This constant stream of thought can feel overwhelming, but it reveals something deeper. It creates the illusion that there is a solid me at the center, doing the thinking. But what if that me is just another thought? Because thoughts are impermanent. This constant change shows us that there is no fixed, unchanging self behind them. It is like a river always flowing, never the same from one moment to the next. The water is always moving, the currents shifting just like our thoughts. One thought triggers another. A thought about work brings worry about a deadline, which recalls a past mistake, which sparks anxiety. That is cause and effect in action. And here is something important. Trying to force your thoughts to stop is like trying to dam a river with your bare hands. It only stirs up more turbulence. The more you try to control the mind, the more chaotic it can feel. So what if, instead of resisting the current, you simply observed it? That is where mindfulness sati comes in. The Satipatthana Sutta, a foundational Buddhist text, gives clear guidance on cultivating mindful awareness. It is about being present with each moment, without judgment and without getting swept away. When you simply observe your thoughts without reacting or getting involved in their stories, something shifts. You create a bit of space. You begin to realize you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that sees them. And this is not just a philosophical idea. Modern research, including the work of Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction (MBSR), has shown that mindfulness practices can change the brain. They reduce stress, improve focus, and create distance between you and your usual reactive patterns. Let us try it right now. For just a few seconds, observe your thoughts. Do not try to change them or push them away, just watch. Like clouds drifting by. Did you notice anything? Maybe a bit more stillness, a little more space. That is the beginning of freedom. That is the power of bare observation. Chapter 2. The Empty Center. See, looking for the thinker. There is a common assumption that there is a thinker behind our thoughts, a separate self that is in control. But if our thoughts are not a fixed self, If they come and go like clouds, then what exactly are we? This is where we begin to search for the supposed owner of all this mental activity. It is a natural question and one the Buddha himself deeply explored. It is like having a sense that somebody must be home inside us. We feel there must be someone behind the scenes, directing and producing these thoughts. But the Buddha's teachings on anatta, or no self, challenge this deeply rooted belief not by denying our experience, but by inviting us to examine it more carefully. Let us try a little experiment. Pause for a moment and simply look for the thinker behind your thoughts. Do not think about it, just try to find it directly. What do you actually discover? Did you find anything that felt like a solid, unchanging thinker? Or maybe something else entirely? This kind of inner investigation often reveals something unexpected. The absence of what we thought was there. Instead of offering abstract theory, the Buddha taught a practical way to understand our experience. He described the entirety of human existence as made up of 5 aggregates, or pancakondha. These are rupac physical form, vyadanasi feelings, sanasi perceptions, sankarasi mental formations including thoughts, intentions, and habits, vinnāsi consciousness. Everything we experience can be categorized within these 5 mental formations. In particular, include things like thoughts, volitions, and tendencies. In the Anatta-Lakkhā Sutta, the Buddha clearly states, "This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself." He says this of each aggregate, encouraging us to observe and see if any of them truly qualify as a permanent self. There is a beautiful story about a monk named Kemaka, who was deeply reflecting on this teaching. He carefully examined each of the 5 aggregates: his body, his feelings, his perceptions, his thoughts, and his consciousness, and still, he could not find any fixed or lasting self. Eventually, he realized that even the feeling of I am thinking is just another mental formation, a sankhara. It is not a thinker. It is just a thought. That insight brought him deep peace and clarity. Another powerful story is about Keme, a queen famed for her beauty before she became a nun. Her husband, King Bimbisara, a devoted follower of the Buddha, knew she was strongly attached to her appearance. To help her, he invited her to the monastery. There, the Buddha conjured a vision of a woman even more beautiful than Kame, and then aged that image rapidly before her eyes. That striking demonstration of impermanence shook her perception. It led her to deep realization, and she later became a renowned nun known for her wisdom, shifting from the belief that our thoughts are mine to seeing them as impersonal processes can feel unsettling at first. After all, if there is no self in control, what does that mean? It means our thoughts are just natural occurrences. They arise due to causes and conditions just like everything else. This is dependent origination applied to the act of thinking itself. The Buddha once explained this idea to a farmer using the analogy of planting seeds. Our past actions, intentions, and experiences plant seeds in the mind. When current conditions water those seeds, they sprout as thoughts and emotions. Thinking, then, does not require a separate self. It is not something a controller is doing. It arises spontaneously through the interaction of countless causes and conditions. And in that realization, there is freedom, a lightness, because when we see thoughts for what they are, passing events, not personal possessions, the clinging lessens. And with less clinging, the mental suffering we carry begins to ease. Chapter 3. The clear awareness behind thinking. Beyond the constant stream of thoughts, there is something more fundamental, a simple yet profound capacity, the ability to know. It is the awareness that underlies all experience, the silent witness to everything that rises and passes away. This awareness is not just another thought. It is the space in which all thoughts occur. It is not about developing a new skill. It is about recognizing something that is already present within us. The Buddha placed great importance on sati, or mindfulness. a non-judgmental awareness of our present moment experience. It is this quality of awareness that the monk Anuruddha worked to cultivate. He struggled in meditation, constantly distracted and frustrated. The Buddha encouraged him to simply become mindfully aware of his thoughts and sensations as they arose and passed, without getting entangled in them. With steady practice, Anuruddha developed a clear, stable awareness and through it, found deep peace. He began to understand the true potential of the mind. His experience reflects a universal capacity, one that even modern science is beginning to recognize. Neuroscience shows that the brain is capable of observing its own processes. This self-awareness appears to be a built-in function, a fundamental aspect of consciousness itself. Think of a moment where the mind is quiet, not caught in thoughts, but resting in pure presence. Maybe it is between two breaths, in deep reflection, or when you are fully immersed in something meaningful. In those moments, there is a sense of spaciousness, of clarity. The Buddha encouraged the cultivation of jhana, deep states of meditative absorption, where the mind becomes unified, still, and deeply focused. Even brief glimpses of this kind of clarity can awaken us to a different way of experiencing life. The mind, in these moments, is like a vast, open sky. Thoughts, emotions, and sensations are like clouds drifting across it. The clouds change. They come and go, but the sky remains open, expansive, and untouched. This traditional Buddhist metaphor beautifully illustrates the relationship between awareness and the contents of consciousness. And recognizing this inner spaciousness is the beginning of true freedom from the turbulence of the thinking mind. But this spacious awareness is not blank or lifeless. It has a distinct quality. It includes upekkeha, or equanimity, a calm, balanced attention that neither clings nor resists. It allows whatever is present to simply be, without pushing it away or holding on. Equanimity is one of the four Brahma Viharas, or sublime states, taught by the Buddha as essential for liberation. And today, this ancient insight is backed by modern research. Studies show that training in equanimity can change how the brain reacts to emotional stimuli. It reduces reactivity, creates inner calm, and brings greater emotional resilience. This balanced awareness, this capacity to be present with whatever arises, without being swept away, is the heart of inner peace. It is not about stopping your thoughts. It is about transforming your relationship with them. Chapter 4. Living with this understanding. So, how do we bring this understanding of thoughts and awareness into our daily lives? It begins with cultivating a wiser relationship to thinking, one of mindful engagement rather than constant struggle. The Buddha never suggested we eliminate thinking altogether. He understood that thought is a valuable tool how we plan, learn, create, and make our way through the world. The key is not to reject thinking, but to use it wisely without being used by it. He taught yoniso manasikara, wise attention. This means paying attention in a way that leads to clarity and liberation, not confusion and suffering. The story of Angulimala is a powerful example. Once a feared outlaw, his entire life was transformed after encountering the Buddha. But what truly changed was his relationship to his own thoughts. Under the Buddha's guidance, he began to see the destructive patterns in his mind and to cultivate compassion and wisdom. Instead, this transformation was not about erasing his past, it was about learning to respond differently to the inner impulses that once ruled him. This same insight applies to our everyday lives. Take a simple example. Facing a tough challenge, say, a difficult math problem. From a Buddhist perspective, the thinking involved here is just a series of mental formations, sankharas, arising due to conditions. You begin with an intention to solve the problem, that is a volition. Another sankhara, then memories of similar problems, knowledge, patterns, and ideas emerge in your mind. These mental formations arise, interact, and shift all within the space of awareness. The key, through mindfulness, is to engage with this process without getting identified with it. You are not lost in the thinking, you are observing it. There is a lightness, a spaciousness that allows for deeper insight. So how might this look in practice? Here is a simple breakdown. 1. Intention. C. Setting the stage. Begin with a clear, gentle intention. I want to understand this. This sets the direction for your mind, like planting a seed. 2. Observation. C. Mindful engagement. As you think, stay aware. Notice strategies, thoughts, and emotional reactions. Observe frustration, curiosity, or distraction as they arise. 3. Space. C. Creating room. Rather than forcing a solution, allow space. Take a breath. Step away if needed. This is not avoidance, it is creating mental openness for insight to emerge. 4. Equanimity. C. Staying balanced. Maintain balance. Know that solutions unfold in their own time. Be present with the process, without grasping for outcomes. 5. Insight. C. Allowing emergence. When understanding arises, recognize it gently. Do not cling. Let it fully form and inform your action. The Buddha illustrated this with a powerful metaphor in the Alagada-pama Sutiti, the parable of the raft. A raft is essential for crossing a river, but once you have reached the far shore, you do not keep carrying it. In the same way, thoughts are helpful tools, but we do not need to cling to every idea or belief. The wisdom lies in knowing when thinking is useful and when it is just causing unnecessary struggle. This is the middle way, a path between repressing thought and being swept away by it. We begin with small, grounded steps. When you are feeling stressed, take a few conscious breaths. Observe the sensations in your body. When you are overwhelmed, rest in the awareness behind the thoughts, the calm behind the storm. Over time, these small shifts in attention bring profound change. They help us become more fully present, more at ease with ourselves and our lives. We began with the question, if you are not your thoughts, then who is thinking them? And the deepest answer is not found in words. It is found in direct experience and awareness beyond the grasp of concepts. In the Kulamalakaya Sutiti, when the Buddha was asked abstract, metaphysical questions about the nature of self and the universe, he often responded with noble silence. The silence itself was the teaching. The goal is not to define a new self or pin down a fixed answer. It is to realize that the very need for the question dissolves when we see things with clarity. Subscribe and awaken your mind with Wisdom Kingdom.